Well, welcome back, everyone, to my Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Christine Bongiovanni-Stiff. I am a life coach who helps you learn how to build a solid, strong, loving relationship with the most important person you will ever have a relationship with. This relationship, when you build it and learn how to love this person, you are going to find that every relationship in your life just starts to become better. And the relationship I'm talking about is the relationship with yourself. And today I want to dig into the thought model again because it's been a while since I have explained it. Actually, it was way back before I was a certified life coach and was recording requirement submissions. And so if you go back into my YouTube, you will find a series of 4 videos. Hopefully they're all in there. I know that they are on my Instagram TV, but I had a 4-part series, 2-minute videos that talked about the model and then broke down the independent pieces of the model. So it might be a little interesting to go back and listen to that and then listen to this video as well. Between the two of them, I think you'll get a lot of good insight, and I am really certain that this video will help explain it on a little deeper level, a more understanding level for you. I'm going to start though by going back to before I decided to become a life coach, an actual life coach. So I have been coaching people for 30 years, but it's only been in the last year that I have started to do the process of getting certified as a true life coach and getting some credentials behind that and teaching in a whole different way. And when I decided to start digging into some of the problems in my life, this was kind of when life coaching started to become apparent to me that it could help me a lot. And really, the way the life coach school teaches coaching. At this time in my life, it was about 3 years ago, I was just tired of the things going on in my life, the problems that just kept coming up in my life. Relationship problems with all sorts of other people, not being fully satisfied with what I was doing, loving what I was doing. Don't get me wrong, but just like feeling there was more, that it just wasn't exactly right. And I was really out in the world. What I knew is I was out in the world doing amazing things, but not fully myself. And I would come home and I would really rely on the introvert in me to just escape. And I really used the label introvert as my reason to need to just get away and recharge. And I've learned since then that that was a little bit of a lie. I just didn't know. It wasn't a lie. I just didn't know because I still am an introvert. I love my quiet time. But back then, what I have realized is that I used that time to get in touch with the real me. Like I could be just me in that moment. And now, when I am so much more the real me out in public and the real me at home, I still love that quiet time. I love getting in touch with me on a deeper level, getting in touch with the spirit on a deeper level, being able to hear what is going on in my life in a deeper level. But I fully love meeting people and talking to people, it energizes me. So, yeah, at this time, what I started was just truly seeking help, searching out like what could I do. For years, I talked in my head about doing it, but I was too proud. And I just got to the breaking point basically where I just needed to do this. And it really started, it was totally God. God knew that I was at a point that this, like, I had to do something. And through a sermon series at my church, it really reached out to me. And this was the point where one, I sought out a therapist. Uh, and I somehow, though I know it was God, found the Life Coach School podcast, and I started doing some of the work. I very much identified with all of the teachings of the Life Coach School. They were a little bit difficult for me to grasp, as they are with my clients, because the thinking is so different from what we are brought up with and what we are taught. And prior to this, I just really listened and lightly applied the teachings. Therapy helped me in a way that it got me a little bit forward and helped me to release some of my pent up resentment and regret. But it was truly the life coaching that changed my life around. And I do believe it's a combination of all of it. I also joined another program that helped me dig deep into my past. But in 2017, I decided to take massive action on the Life Coach School teachings, including doing a daily thought download and working on figuring out what the thought model really was and how it applied to my life. And I actually have right here with me the journal that I used to do my thought downloads, to work on my models. And it's kind of fun to look through this. And I'm actually going to take time to look at one of my first models and share it with you. And then I'm also going to share one that I did this morning. But this simple tool really, really changed my life because it allowed me to look at every situation going on in my life, every circumstance, and how the result that I was getting. And it allowed me to see how I was creating the results, not other people, and how I could start turning my own results around, which is so empowering because we are out there in the world, like blaming our boss, blaming other people for the problems in our lives. We are struggling with, like, what is going on? Why can't I change this? But when you see that you are in complete control of all of this, it is magical because it just gives you the freedom to get the results that you want. So let me explain it to you, and then I'll give you a few of those examples that I was talking about. The model is a 5-part tool. Starts with your circumstance. Circumstance is the facts around whatever it is you're thinking about. And it is fully factual. I have clients that will tell me all the things about their boss, and they have all the evidence that she is or he is a bad person, just can't get along with anybody. They have all this evidence, but this is not a fact that your boss is self-centered, or because it can't be proven in a court of law. Not everyone is going to agree that this person is self-centered. The fact is, we could have a whole lot of facts. It could be your boss said That is fully factual. It could be you have a boss. My boss is so and so. Those are facts. I work at so and so. My one of my bosses is, or one of my managers is. So that's what the circumstance is. And then we as individuals have the second part is your thought about that circumstance. And we can have thousands of thoughts about one single circumstance. And so the thought model, you could take every one of those thoughts and look at it and see what result you are getting from each thought. We're not going to do that. There's usually a couple dominant thoughts that are very similar, giving you the same feeling, which leads me to the third part of the model, which is the feeling or the emotion that that single thought is bringing up for you. This is a one-word emotion. So it might be fear, it might be anger, it might be frustration, it might be love, it might be insecurity. Any emotion. You can go on the Googles and you can search emotions and get a long list of emotions. You can send me a message. I'll send you a document full of emotions that you can pick from. Then you figure out what feeling that thought is driving for you, and then that feeling will cause you to show up in a certain way. It will cause you to take certain actions. And we, like I said, I'm going to give you an example so that will help you. But if you're feeling frustrated, you're going to take certain actions. If you're feeling empowered, you're going to take certain actions. If you're feeling fear, certain actions. And then those actions create the result that you are getting. And the result always ties back to your thought. So my boss is self-centered. That makes you feel frustrated. Maybe some of the actions you take are you complain, you see all the negative in your boss, you talk to everybody about your boss and see if they agree with you. You blame them for how you're feeling. You're putting, you have a manual for how you think your boss should show up, all these things that they should do that they're not doing. And in the end, the result is that you're being self-centered. Because, so the thought was, my boss is self-centered. You're frustrated, you're taking those actions. And the result is that you're being self-centered because you think that your boss should act the way you think they should act. So that's a simple example. That is an example of an unintentional model. That's what we call it. It's what is actually happening for you in the moment. And what I really encourage is there is the unintentional and then there is the intentional model. So oftentimes we can look at how you want to show up. What result do you want? But what I always encourage is to be really curious and really feel what the unintentional model is bringing up for you. Like, why is this happening? Be curious about it. And don't just try to automatically escape to something different. Really be curious about why this is happening for you and feel what that frustration is really feeling for you. The intentional model, let's just use that example. The intentional model you could look at how you want to feel in this situation or the result that you want. Maybe the result that you want with said boss is, instead of you being self-centered, The result you want is to be able to be an awesome employee, to show up, the to just like really knock it out of the park as an employee, as part of whatever company it is that you work for. Not necessarily, it has to be a result that you want, but thinking the result, I want to be the best employee for this said boss, might not work for you. But maybe you just really want to be the best employee that you can be. Like, you want to show up with pride. And so when you think of that result, I want to be the best employee I can be, your result, your actions, you would need to take specific actions. So you would want to be able to get along with all of the people that you work with. That doesn't mean you need to be their best friend, but you're able to have an open mind to be able to see all sides of the equation. Maybe you want to do your work, do your best work, not to, maybe you don't want to be influenced by other people's personalities. You want to focus on you and not be blaming other people for your results. Maybe you want to be curious about your boss. Maybe you want to not judge them and just be curious about why they're acting the way they're acting, being non-judgmental. And in order to do this stuff, take these actions, you have to decide what feeling can drive that. Maybe it is self-confidence. Maybe it is that, I feel really good about who I am as an employee. That allows me to show up at work with a good attitude, being able to deal with multiple different types of personalities, understand that people get to be who they are. And then what thought will create self-confidence? Maybe the thought is, I am a good employee, or I let the people I work with be who they are. And so that would be an intentional model, and a lot of people want to jump to that. And I encourage, like I said, you to just like sit and look at the two. And it's not like you can just jump into an intentional model and do that. In some cases you can, but often it's just really being able to be aware and taking that unintentional model with you to work and watching how you show up around said boss. It's just allowing you to feel and become aware of what you're creating without jumping to a change, without that old habit of escaping what doesn't feel good. So with that, being able to look at that example of you right where you are right now, where you're blaming the outside world, you're unhappy, you're not sure of, what your purpose is here in this job because it doesn't feel like you have any impact. And the solution is really learning how to manage your mind, looking inward, developing your relationship with yourself, your self-confidence in who you are and how you're showing up. And then you get the result of being in complete control of all of your results. You can fix any of your problems, free of the burdens of trying to impress others, trying to change others, trying to get other people to do what you want them to do. And the full impact of that is that you get to live a life in HD, like full Technicolor. So I did also want to share a couple examples, an old example, and I don't know the situation here, but this was after a weekend event that I had been at. And my circumstance that I said was I was eating mindlessly. And that really probably isn't the true circumstance. This true circumstance could be what I actually ate, like listing all of the things that I ate, because I probably wasn't mindless. I was probably very conscious of what I was eating. So that probably isn't the true circumstance. And then I had the thought that I deserved this. And that made me feel guilty, which caused me to eat more. And the result was that I eat more than I want to eat. And I'm not sure that that really, I mean, that is the true result. But when I'm thinking I deserve this, what, and it's making me feel guilty, the true result is that I am just lying to myself. When I think I deserve this, what I really probably deserved was some rest, because I know I was tired after that weekend. So I probably deserved to just rest. And so there was probably that tie between wanting to rest, but maybe being hungry. If all of my eating clients out there, that is one thing I tell you to pay attention to, is when you're overtired, go to sleep. Stop overeating. And then I have one from today that I'll share with you. So this was in regard, actually, I talked about this on my live today. The circumstance was that I said I had 2 clients. And this is just, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but this was a circumstance that I had last week at an event. And my thought was, so the case was I didn't have 2 clients. I had 1 appointment. And so basically I was doing a thought download about not telling the truth in this situation. And so my thought was, I'm insecure. After I dug into this, I was thinking, okay, why did I say that? So I answered the question, and one of the answers was that I thought I was insecure, which made me feel like a fake. The action I was taking, I was dwelling, I was beating myself up, I was shaming myself, I was backing it up with even more lies, proving myself. And then the result I was getting is I was acting insecure. And I don't think I did an intentional model on that. But that's what I have for today. I would love to share with you some worksheets if you're interested in trying to figure out the model. I have a couple worksheets to get you started that explains the thought model, gives you some forms for creating a model, creating an unintentional and an intentional model. I have a worksheet to help you with your thought downloads. A thought download, again, is just dumping all of your thoughts onto a piece of paper. It doesn't look like a story, it's just random thoughts. It doesn't need to make any sense. So I have a worksheet for that as well. And if you, like I said, any questions you might have, feel free to direct message me, leave a comment in the thread. I would love to help you out. And if you are looking for any help with you and problems that you're having in your life, let's talk. Let's just have a simple, comfortable conversation. This is my goal, is to help as many people as I can just develop confidence in their life and just make every relationship in their life amazing. Again, just make their life beautiful, like they never thought they could have. It is entirely possible. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Ciao.